Hi, welcome to Simple Strategies to Transform Your Life, to transform your extraordinary life. Today I'm going to talk about something that's a little more difficult than other topics that I've talked about in recent weeks or months for that matter, and that's how to deal with the loss of a dear friend. And last night, I lost a very dear friend of mine who died a very difficult death of esophageal cancer. And there's no replacement for these old friends that we have in life. It's not like you could replace them with new old friends. We only get the ones that we have. And then we could certainly add to our friendship circle, but not the same. And what's interesting about losing a dear friend is that there's no protocol, there's no ritual that we have in our culture that recognizes the loss of friends. We do when we lose our parents, and we expect to lose our parents. We do for, God forbid, our children or for other family members. But for dear friends, we don't have a way in which we acknowledge. And so I want to talk about some of the ways to think about that. And I also want to say that friendships, important friendships, are sometimes the most meaningful relationships that we have in our lives, because these are the relationships, as you know, that we choose and choose to nurture, and in many cases choose to nurture throughout our life cycle. And not only are they not replaceable, but they're powerful, important relationships that we have. And these relationships are also the key to health, happiness, and longevity. There's nothing more important than friendships throughout the life cycle in terms of keeping us resilient and able to not only cope, but to navigate well throughout the life cycle. So when we lose somebody that's dear to us, sometimes it can feel really lonely. And what I would recommend is seeking out other people that knew that person, or because sometimes your own family may not know what that friendship was to you, and seeking out other family members of that person that knew of that relationship, or maybe journaling about your relationship and all the memories that come pouring out as a result of this loss. Because there is a depth to the relationships that we've kept over the years. There's a reason that we've kept them. Even if we haven't had a lot of contact over the years, if somebody's in your heart, or in this case, in my heart, that doesn't go away. That doesn't get diminished by the years. And I visited my friend 2 days ago, and then he died the next day. And it just felt like I saw his beauty and his radiance and his presence, and then saw that slipping away at the end of my visit. And I just recommend that you find a venue when this happens to you, because the truth is, we're only going to experience more of this as we get older, not less of this, because none of us, no matter who we are, no matter what we've accomplished or what we have, or whatever extraordinary feats we've created in our lives, none of us live forever. We are going to die. And what that does, that knowledge gives us the wisdom to reverse engineer rather than getting depressed about it. It gives us the space to make decisions about how we want to live our lives full out, knowing that each day as a gift. It's not prescribed that we're going to just, it's not for granted that we're just going to keep living until we're 95 years old. My father-in-law is 100, but not everybody gets to live like that. So many of us just don't, well, all of us don't know what's going to happen next. And it doesn't matter even what your age is. So reverse engineering, I've been thinking about Parkland today. It's the 1-year anniversary. We just don't, I mean, obviously that's a freaky, freaky tragedy, but none of us are guaranteed anything, which is why we have to make the most out of every day and know that it is a gift and something that we need to be grateful for, because when we're grateful for every day that we have, we tend to be happier and healthier too as a result of that. And what I'm feeling is I'm grateful that I knew this person and that he was in my life and in many ways helped to shape my life. And now that he's gone, he's in my heart. And what's important is what remains in my heart as I go forward. So there is a piece of him that is with me, as there is with his family and the other important people in his life. But I encourage you also to nurture the friendships that matter to you, because we just don't know. And if you nourish and nurture the friends that are significant to you, you won't have regrets, and you'll find that as you travel through your life, there's so much more joy as you go through, because in the end, what makes us the happiest most often is the quality of our relationships, the quality of our friendships, the people we choose to surround ourselves with. That's what gives us our joie de vivre more than any accomplishment or anything that we do. So if we could do what matters to us and be with the people that matter to us, then we've really created a life where we feel like there's a richness, there's a meaning, there's a deep sense of connection. So I also encourage you, if you've lost a friend, or when and if that happens to you, that you create your own rituals around the loss of that person. If it helps to, in my faith, we light a yahrzeit candle when somebody dies, or a candle when somebody dies, and keeping some of those rituals or making up your own could be valuable, because you want to know that this was real. This was a real part of your life, and it was meaningful and significant, and it does have gravitas. It does matter. And just because it's not recognized in our culture in the way that we would when people gather around and bring meals and flowers and candies around the loss of a parent or the loss of a loved one, a spouse, it's not recognized in the same way, as I said earlier, around a friend. But we get to create whatever it is that we need to do around the loss of a friend. And I encourage you to not only journal and reach out to people that you have in common with that lost friend, but that you also create your own rituals that are meaningful to you, whether it's looking at a photo album of past experiences together, or just visiting some old places that you held meaningful and shared moments together, however that looks to you. So the journaling, connecting with loved ones, allowing yourself time to reflect and to really go inward, or to connect with others who get it, could be powerful ways that you deal with the loss of a friend. And giving yourself the time and space to do this is just so important. So important, rather than skipping over it or not allowing yourself to move through it, because it's always through moving through our experiences that we are then able to get to the other side. And that doesn't mean that we don't hold that person still dear in our hearts. It means that we're able to move through in an emotionally healthy way so that we can live and carry on in our extraordinary lives. So I hope that resonates with some of you. I'd love to hear your thoughts, reactions, comments, questions, anything that may be of relevance to you. And I look forward to seeing you next week at another episode of Simple Strategies to Transform Your Life, Your Extraordinary Life. Bye for now.